Good afternoon. My name is Isaac Miller, and I'm here to discuss two very important things dealing with Jehovah's Witnesses. Those two things are theocratic warfare and hiding literature published by Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, you may be wondering in your mind, why are these two things so important? Well, I'm going to talk about that. But just to preview, I'm going to highlight theocratic warfare regarding Geoffrey Jackson's testimony during the 2016 Australian Royal Commission dealing with CSA, and something that they publish about theocratic warfare. I'm going to read it and we're going to talk about it. Also, hiding literature and why this is so important. They used to publish things about hiding literature. I remember they would show videos about hiding literature during the Great Tribulation and how the governments would want this literature, various things. And also even showing the thing that took place in Russia some years back when Russia confiscated some of the literature at the Kingdom Halls of Jehovah's Witnesses. We're going to talk about all of that and why this is so important to help you to appreciate things from a different angle. Now, I'm not going to be accusatory with these statements. I'm going to ask logical questions and raise logical questions while also highlighting Watchtower's literature to give you some things that you perhaps haven't thought about just yet. Now, this video is for Jehovah's Witnesses, former Jehovah's Witnesses, and those whom aren't Jehovah's Witnesses, but you have relatives whom are Jehovah's Witnesses, and you might be wanting to help them or just interested in learning more about their complex doctrines. And we're going to talk about all of that. So feel free to like, subscribe, and comment regarding my channel and share this content to as many people as possible, and put your thoughts in the comment section as well. Now, I'm still a little bit under the weather, but we're going to talk about this. Now, I'll start off this episode with this quote by Benjamin Disraeli. Man isn't a creature of circumstances, but circumstances are creatures of man. When you look at the world and you see these circumstances that we have, you better believe that it's been created by man. When I'm referring to man, just man in general, men and women, not just a literal man. So we are creatures of our circumstances, of our beliefs. But do we ever take time to take a step back and question these things? Well, that's what we're going to do today with a concept known as theocratic warfare. Now, what I encourage you to do is, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, or if you're not a Jehovah's Witness, or if you are just interested, go to jworg, the official website, and in the search box at the top, type in hidden literature. What's going to pop up is some research tools. Now, if it's on the app, if you go to the online library, you're going to go to the online library. So when you go to jw.org, type in hidden literature, but go to the online library first, the Watchtower online library. So go to jw.org if you don't have the app, and then go to the bottom, scroll down to the bottom. On the right-hand side, look for the Watchtower online library. Click on the online library and then type in hidden literature in the search box. And then you're going to see about 33 references. And you're going to see it spanning from 1930 all the way up through 2012. It talks about hiding literature. Now, you may be asking, what's so important about hiding literature? Well, if you've been a Jehovah's Witness for any time, you know that they have talked about hiding literature because the governments will be coming after them and various things, looking to confiscate the literature, the magazines, and this could be used to incriminate you. Now, what's interesting to notice that they stopped publishing articles about hiding literature in 2012. You won't see anything else about it. But why is this so important? Because you have jw.org. all of the literature that you print, you're always directing people to your website. They can just go on jw.org to find that literature. So my question to Jehovah's Witnesses, why were you printing articles about hiding literature if you were going to just create a website? And this will be the only website that's powered by Holy Spirit, according to Jehovah's Witnesses, because they believe that every other religion is wrong. So they believe that Jesus Christ and Jehovah God himself would have put this website together, would have used the governing body, the faithful and discreet slave, to put this website together. So why would Jehovah waste time publishing tons of articles? You're going to see them about hiding literature when he was just going to build the website during the last days, where all these government officials can simply just go on the website and find that same literature. Does that make any sense to you? Why would I hide it and all you have to do is go on the website? You don't need special access to the website. You don't need a passcode or a password. You can just find all the literature right there. Now, that is something that you have to wrestle with as a Jehovah's Witness. Why were you reading articles about hiding literature? Is that not a reason to investigate that further? I know why they printed the articles for you to hide literature. See, everything is not what it seems to be. Even the situation that went down in Russia. Think about that. Go read those articles about hiding literature, but now look at the website. They don't print articles anymore about hiding literature. You direct people to jw.org. Everything is jw.org. And these same articles can still be found about hiding literature. You think the government officials are that dumb? Wouldn't it be easier to just go to your website and take time and hire teams and say, hey, I got 1,000 people. You all read this time period. 10 people, you read from 1950 to 1960. You read from 1960 through 1970, as an example, what they were publishing. So that was all a waste of time. You have to think about that. Now, here's a scripture for you to keep in mind. Isaiah chapter 46 in verses 8 through 10, rather. Isaiah chapter 46. In verses 9 through 10, it reads this way. Remember this and take courage. Take it to heart, you transgressors. Remember the former things of long ago, that I am God and there is no other. I am God and there is no one like me. Notice what God says about himself. From the beginning, I foretell the outcome, and from long ago, the things that have not yet been done, rather. I say my decision will stand and I will do whatever I please. So God foretells the beginning and the end. So according to Jehovah's Witnesses, or according to the Bible better stated, God would have known that he was going to build the website during the last days. Why would he waste time telling you to hide literature if he knew he was just going to put it all online, making it easier for the governments to access it? Let me ask you something. If I was trying to hide my address or pictures of myself, and let's say that I put them in a cabinet, or I put it in a lockbox, and then I turn around and take those same pictures in my address and I publicize it on social media all over the internet, would that make any sense? The very thing that I'm trying to hide, now I make it public. How can I hide it if I make it public? So if Jehovah God wanted his only chosen people to hide the literature that they were printing, then that wasn't very smart to take the literature now and put it on the internet for everybody to see. So you have to admit in your heart that makes no sense and that was no basis for doing that. Is it not possible that it was solely done to create this propaganda to make you think that somebody is coming after you, when the evidence would show that all they have to do is go on your website to read the literature? So what were we hiding things for? Why were we even in a mind frame of trying to hide something that they just have access to now? That doesn't make any sense. Now, I want you to take time and meditate on that. Also, I've been investigating, looking for a formula to see how Watchtower puts the information together. I've already discovered one. If you were to look at the daily text, go online, for example, look at 2025, you'll notice that every last reference comes from 2023, from an article from 2023 out of the Watchtower as an example. Just click on the daily text, go to the bottom, click on that link with the references, and you're also going to see that what's in the daily text is verbatim, word for word from a Watchtower. Go to 2023, go 2 years before that as an example. You're going to see that all the information for all of the daily texts that were done in 2023 came from 2021 Watchtowers. For example, likewise with 2021, go 2 years back. Everything comes from 2019 rather. So whatever year you're in, go back 2 years and you're going to see that what's in 2025, the whole year is coming from something from 2023 out of the Watchtower. For 2024, everything in 2024 came from 2022 Watchtowers. Everything in 2023 came from 2021 Watchtowers. Everything in 2022 came from 2020 Watchtowers. Verbatim paragraph, like copy and paste. How easy is that? See, you're thinking that you're getting all this spiritual food and it's just information being regurgitated. I guarantee you I'm going to find that same concept with all of the books, with all of the tracts. A format is being done. This is evidence of an indoctrination program. Don't take my word for it. Start with the daily text. It's there. Whatever year you're currently in, everything will come from 2 years. Regarding the Watchtower and the Wake. And then when they get to the end of the year, they start moving ahead. They start using articles, like 1 or 2, that is from a year ago. So just take some time. Start with 2025 and then go through the whole year and see where all those references are coming from. It's 2 years prior to 2023. And then do it again for 24. Do it again for 2023. And then you're reading that and you're thinking that this is new information, and it's literally just copying and pasting information from a previous Watchtower 2 years ago. Nothing new about that. Now let's take a time to read this article coming from Watchtower, 1957, May 1st, pages 285 through 286. Again, that's the Watchtower of 1957, May 1st, pages 285 through 286. Now, what's important about this is some Jehovah's Witnesses will say that Geoffrey Jackson was using theocratic warfare. But I want you to notice something. It's going to talk about always telling the truth and regarding hiding literature, how that's theocratic warfare. Well, guess what? You're not hiding literature anymore because it's all online. So all of that was a waste of time, hiding literature just to put it online and tell people, go to jw.org. The very people that's supposed to be your enemies, tell them to go to jw.org and find all the incriminating information. No one cared about the information. You need to look further into why they were telling you to do this. See, when you start engaging in hiding literature and getting to go bags and stuff, that becomes more real to you. So that's called mystical manipulation, where you start creating things that are based on false realities that aren't true. But if I get you to engage with it, it becomes more true to you, although it never happens. But then why did we get rid of it? You heard what the Bible said. God foretells the beginning and the end. God would have known if he was going to use a website. So why does he have his members printing literature, then wasting time creating false narratives to hide it, knowing he's just going to put it all online for his enemies to see anyways? That would make God look like an idiot. He's trying to protect his people and keep this stuff hidden, but then he puts it all in public. That doesn't sound like an intelligent God. Now, of course, God is intelligent, but he simply wasn't backing it. It never came from him. So under the subheading, use Theocratic War Strategy. I'm going to read this and then I'm going to break down some of the segments that I want to highlight. So let's start with, and this is about just like 5 or 6 paragraphs. So I'm going to read a paragraph, then we'll talk about it. A witness of Jehovah was going from house to house in eastern Germany when she met a violent opposer. Knowing at once what to expect, she changed her red blouse for a green one in the very next hallway. No sooner had she appeared on the street than a communist officer asked her if she had seen a woman with a red blouse. No, she replied and went on her way. Did she tell a lie? No, she did not. She was not a liar. Rather, she was using Theocratic War Strategy, hiding the truth by action and word for the sake of the ministry. Now, you see what it's saying? Using Theocratic warfare, saying that this person wasn't lying. Keep in mind what Geoffrey Jackson did now, and that she did this for the sake of the ministry. Now, let's see how, as we continue to read, how this article is going to start contradicting itself. Paragraph 2. In this, she had good scriptural precedent. Did not Rahab hide the Israelite spies by both action and word? Did not Abraham, Isaac, David, and others likewise hide the truth at times when faced with a hostile enemy? They certainly did. And never do we read a word of censure for their doing so. Rather, we read of their being termed exemplary servants of Jehovah. Their actions were in line with Jesus' wise counsel. Look, I am sending you forth as sheep amidst wolves. Therefore, prove yourselves cautious as serpents, and therefore prove yourselves cautious as serpents, and yet innocent as doves. Now, in that paragraph, you see how they're making those parallels. Now, the Bible does not mention anything about theocratic warfare. It does not mention anything about Rahab was using theocratic warfare. That is them reading into that and saying that's what they were doing. But if you make that connection like that, that's also training your mind to think or read into something that's not there. Next paragraph. Perhaps some will wonder as to where the line is to be drawn between use of theocratic war strategy and hiding the truth and telling of lies. Now, this is the paragraph I want to highlight. I'm going to reread that. Perhaps some still wonder as to where the line is to be drawn between use of theocratic war strategy and hiding the truth and the telling of lies. So where do we draw the line? Well, they're going to tell us. First of all, let it be noted that whenever one takes an oath to tell the truth, he is obligated to do so. So Geoffrey Jackson in court during the Warren Commission, he had to put his hand on the Bible and he was under obligation. This article right here that they printed that supposedly came from Jehovah God and Jesus Christ, they are under obligation to tell the truth. When you're under oath, it's right there. Go read it. So let's see what it continues to say. By dedicating himself to God's word, each Christian has taken a vow or made an oath to do God's will to do God's will and to be faithful to him. To this oath, he certainly must be true. Likewise, when a Christian is placed on a witness stand, he is obligated to speak the truth if he speaks at all. He is obligated to speak the truth if he speaks at all. So when they asked Geoffrey Jackson, do you consider yourself to be God's only spokesperson? He said it would be presumptuous to think that. That was a lie. And his own literature is saying you didn't even have to do that. You're under obligation to tell the truth. He should have said, yes, we're God's only chosen channel. Yes, only we are responsible because it's in your literature. How can you say that you were using theocratic war strategy when all they have to do is go to jw.org and see that's what you're saying? So it was a flat out lie. And he should have just asked him, the lawyer, yes or no. So that way he didn't have any wiggle room. Are you God's chosen channel? Yes or no? But he denied being God's only chosen channel. And for what reason? Let's finish reading this paragraph. I'm going to read that statement again. By dedicating himself to do God's will, each Christian has taken a vow or made an oath to do God's will and to be faithful to him. To this oath, he certainly must be true. Likewise, when a Christian is placed on a witness stand, he is obligated to speak the truth if he speaks at all. Of course, they wouldn't have known that they were going to have a CSA problem almost 60 years later. But God would have known that. He foretells the beginning and the end. None of this comes from God. They shot themselves in the foot with this Theocratic War Strategy because they're not even following it. He told a lie. At times, he may prefer to refuse to speak or suffer the consequences rather than betray his brothers or the interests of God's work. So what was Geoffrey Jackson betraying? He wasn't betraying his brothers or God, because they asked him a simple question. Are you God's only spokesman? If anything, there was an opportunity to give a witness for God. Was it not? He could have refused to speak. He didn't even do that. He chose to lie. He could have pleaded the fifth. He chose to lie. He was trying to protect himself, because if he said that he was God's only chosen channel and they looked at all the shunning, everything that they're doing to former members, now that puts him in a position where he can be isolated as an individual and the governing body. He was protecting the governing body, not God. God knows how to protect himself. You think that the government and those lawyers could do anything with God? Nothing they can do against him. He just lied. And it's right here that he had no reason to do that. Last two sentences of this paragraph. And of course, there's no occasion for use of war strategy when dealing with our Christian brothers. In dealing with them, we tell the truth or tactfully remind them that what they seek to know does not concern them. There's no use to use that with your brothers. There was no use to use it during court. So I encourage you to read that article and take some time to look at how they used to write articles about hiding literature, and how now all of a sudden they stopped in 2012 and all the literature is online. What's the point of hiding it if it's online? All of that was for nothing. What's the point of prepping people to do that if all they have to do is go online? So by doing stuff like that, they make God out to be a fool when they say that he is the one backing that. God is just exposing everybody to the literature. Millions, multiple languages all over the world. So everybody can know what you believe. See, none of that makes any sense. So you have to wrestle with this when you watch the Australian Royal Commission and you read what they wrote on theocratic warfare. And I'm going to put that article in the reference box. You have to ask yourself, it says right there, you should never lie under oath. Why did he lie and deny being God's only chosen channel when that's what he tells the members? And you have to believe it. You can't just say you believe in the governing. You can't just say you believe in God and Jesus and the Bible. You have to believe in the governing body, or you will be kicked out and called an apostate and shunned by your family and friends for the rest of your life. That is not acceptable. And if you have any type of courage, any type of character, any type of moral compass to call yourself, to have the audacity to call yourself a representative of Jehovah and a true Christian, that is spiritual hypocrisy. The Revelation 21:8 talks about what happens to cowards. Do not be a coward when it comes to love. God will strengthen you. Stand up for what is right. We have enough cowards in this world. It's easy to stand up for something when everybody are patting you on the back and giving you accolades. But the real challenge, the real adversity happens when you have to stand up and be criticized. Acts 5:29, we must obey God as ruler rather than man. Why did he stand up and use that as an opportunity to give this grand witness to the world? If anything, he was cooperating with them, with the governments, in a way to protect the governing body's interests. Please watch the Australian Royal Commission if you haven't. It will open your eyes. So my next video, I'm going to talk about the struggles that men and women have regarding friendships and relationships. And I'm going to really highlight the culture of Jehovah's Witnesses. But again, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And again, I'm still under the weather, so please excuse my voice. I'm doing my best. But I'm wishing you a beautiful weekend and much success. And even though I am sick, I still ran for 1 hour and 45 minutes. So I did like 12 or 13 miles and I walked for 15 minutes. And now I'm going to get ready for my performance tomorrow. And I'm also going to put together this soliloquy, this spoken word piece that's going to be about 30 to 45 minutes. And it's going to be like a dramatic play. And I envision myself traveling all over the world performing this. And I'm going to really highlight the damage of religious trauma by telling a story through spoken word and art. And it's going to be something incredible. I can feel it now. Because when you don't have the facts all the time, and we do have the facts, but people sometimes get bored with that. But you can tell a story in a different way, which is why we like to escape with music and various other things. But I love you. Take care. And please watch my previous video highlighting the good things about Jehovah's Witnesses, because I like to have a moral compass in my mind to keep the energy positive, because I'm not bashing Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm simply highlighting truths that can be easily proven. So no need to use ad hominems, no need to use distraction tactics to say, oh, you're attacking me. I'm talking about facts. Where are yours? And it's just that simple. But take care.